because we as Americans have a tendency sometimes to forget that Virginia Tech, prior to this incident, was a gun-free zone.
And of course, it still is a gun-free zone. About a year before the shootings happened, a student wrote a letter into the local newspaper complaining, just like this Mr. Maxwell in Oregon, saying that, you know what, I have a CCW and I'm legal to carry, and all of a sudden when I cross the border of the college campus, I am considered to be incompetent or too dangerous to carry. And why? I'm the same person on either side of this artificial line, and I'm trusted throughout. And of course, this was roundly criticized in the paper the next week by the university spokesman, a guy by the name of Larry Hinker, who I think his words ought to haunt him, because in fact he ridiculed this statement, and he said, and I wrote an article about this, and I don't recall the details, but his words were that Virginia Tech had a very sound policy. That's a direct quote. And we saw how very sound that policy was. And again, you know, you have to go back to the excuses that, well, there's pressure and the college kids are into drugs and into alcohol. Well, you know what? You can get drugs or alcohol off campus as well. As a matter of fact, I've got some college buddies coming over over the weekend, and we used to have kegger parties in our room, in our dorm. You can't do that anymore. Society has actually, you know, gotten more Victorian, if you will, in terms of, you know, accepting things like that. But anybody who wants to misbehave can misbehave off campus or on campus, and people who simply want to be able to defend themselves and responsibly exercise their rights as adults need to be able to do it wherever they make the choice, not where Jenny Burdick makes the choice, not where Sean Alford makes the choice, but where they make the choice. That's what it means to have freedom. And as responsible Americans, I don't believe that we should let anybody dictate those choices for us. And when we see someone trying to do it, it's our civic duty as Americans to step up, to point it out, to defy and to resist.
I absolutely agree with you, David. And you can go back into our history all the way back to at least Luby's in Texas, where the incident took place there in an area where she could not bring her gun into the cafeteria. Had there been one gun, lives would have been saved. Now, there's nothing, all kidding aside here, there's nothing comfortable about wearing a sidearm. It's not something that you do because you enjoy it. It's not a comfortable thing to have on you. But if I am legally registered to have that gun, I have a permit for that gun, then I am also responsible enough to carry it wherever I think I need to.
Well, you know, I was even in a situation, and I think I told you about this, in California, and I take some heat sometimes on my blog and on my column because people say, well, you're bashing, you know, law enforcement or whatever. I actually got into this, and I think I told you this, because a policeman in California advised me to carry a gun when I was in a situation where he and his partner knew that they could not protect me, and that this was the way things were. And this was coming directly from a member of law enforcement with his years of experience and his considered opinion. And you know, sometimes, James, particularly in California where you are, tough choices have to be made. I, as a free American, resent the fact that my government forces me to make a tough choice like that. Yeah. It seems to me
ultimately, David, our safety is in our own hands. It's as simple as that. And law enforcement may not want to go on record as saying so, but you take them to the side and you ask them personally, I don't care where they are, they will say, ultimately, your safety rests in your hands, because no one is going to be able to get there quick enough to save your life but you. So I think the case rests right there. Now, I understand the arguments on both sides, and I just don't agree with them, quite frankly. So anytime that you set up a gun-free zone, that's only going to tell me that that's the place someone's going to get hurt.
I call them Harris-Klebold empowerment zones.
Yeah, very good, David. I like that. We'll see you again next week. Thanks for coming on.
James, always a pleasure. Thank you.
Bye-bye.